We live in some really interesting times when flip phones and foldable phones are an uprising trend. In this video we are gonna take a look at two smartphones that have something in common. They both fold. On the left we have the Samsung Z Fold 3 and Microsoft Surface Duo 2 on the other. Both devices will cost you over $1,000, so it's important to know which one is best for you. Both have their weak points and I will do my best to provide an honest review of both phablets. At the first impression, Samsung feels a little heavier than the Surface. That's most likely due to the use of aluminum along the hinge, which in fact it makes it feel pretty pleasant in the hand. Microsoft Dual Screen Phone is also noticeably thinner than the Fold 3. Both devices are a little different in terms of design and form factor. While the Microsoft phone has two separate screens that combine to offer a larger screen experience, the Samsung Foldable uses a foldable display that unfolds into a bigger screen. Additionally, Samsung has also included a secondary screen that's pretty much the size of a regular smartphone screen, so you don't have to open it every time you use it. Unfortunately, since there is no secondary display on the Surface Duo 2, you will have to open the device if you want to use it. And yes, you can use it with one hand, but it will not close flat since the camera is in the way. The hinge on both feels pretty strong. They both can be set in pretty much any angle, and what's interesting is that you can actually set up a cam. Anyway, they both can be set in the laptop style angles. There is no tension or spring in the hinges. When both phones are unfolded, Samsung has an almost flat 7.6-inch inner display with a plastic screen. When I'm saying almost flat, I'm talking about the crease. It will be there, you will feel it. That's how most of the flexible displays are. On the other hand, there is a gap between the displays since the Surface is using two different displays totaling an 8.3 inches that are protected by a Gorilla Glass Victus, making its inner screen as strong as most other flagship smartphones. If we're talking about durability, guess which one is going to win? Samsung claims that its inner screen can handle a lot of abuse, but in reality it can be easily damaged with a strong big nail. The feel of the screen is a little soft, so in the long term the Galaxy Z Fold 3 might begin to show some wear on the plastic screen and the crease will become more visible. On the other hand, the Surface Duo 2 display matches the durability of a modern flagship, being hard to crack and it's scratch resistant. If we bring the water in the equation, the Z Fold 3 can actually be submerged in the water and survive. Samsung wins this one since the Surface Duo 2 has no water resistant rating or whatsoever. When watching a video handheld, we all know who the winner is, and it's not the one that has a noticeable gap in the middle. No one wants to see that. Video is just better on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. But if we change the things a little bit and we put it this way, then the clear winner is Surface because the video fills the entire screen. See, there are a few weak points to both devices. It's just more of how the consumer is planning to use the device. The brightness performance outdoors is not disappointing, but I still decided to do a test comparing the screen's brightness on both devices in bright sunlight. Samsung claims to have 1200 nits and Duo 2 just 800, but in reality you won't have any trouble using them in bright environments as both are doing a great job, and I cannot notice any major difference between those two. In terms of performance, there comes a question: which one offers a smoother experience or feel of the screen? Well, here Samsung wins as it offers 120 Hz compared to 90 Hz on the Duo. Other than that, specs wise, they are both similar except that the Fold 3 offers 12 gig of RAM. That's 4 extra gigs compared with the Surface, but honestly that shouldn't slow you down as both devices feel pretty snappy and responsive. On the productivity side, I'm not going to talk much about it since this varies from user to user, but you can achieve pretty similar results on both devices. You can have the app's full screen or choose to use just half of it. But if you have to sketch and draw a lot, you might want to consider a bigger surface without a gap in the middle, like the Galaxy. There comes another question. How's the battery doing while powering so many screens? Well, they both doing worse than your average traditional one screen, one battery smartphone. And dual screens devices have to keep up two panels powered up. That can consume a lot of power. But running it continuously on both screens, we are getting close to 8 hours on the Duo and almost 7 hours on the Galaxy with 120 Hz enabled. Now, the Galaxy, you have the option for 60 Hz that combined with the usage of the outer screen can bump the performance close to 9 hours. Neither of those phones ships with a charger, so you gotta use what you have lying around. And the winner here is the Z Fold 3 because it supports wireless charging and 25 watts fast charging. That's 2 more watts than the Duo. Both devices are offering triple camera setups. Let's start with the ultra wide camera, and we can notice that Samsung has a better dynamic range as it shows more details in the window outside, where the image on the surface is just a little overexposed in that area. The surface has a little bit more contrast and shadows are noticeably darker, bringing the overall image quality to a natural and realistic lighting. Looking closer at the details, we notice that Microsoft has a sharper image, a little noisier than the Samsung, which got a smooth feeling, compromising the small details. Moving on the wide or the main camera, this time Samsung got a better contrast, leaving the surface hanging with the shadows being too dark, making things more dramatic. Details are better on the Duo 2 with a little bit of noise compared to the smooth texture from the Samsung. Also, the color tone on the Duo seems to be leaning towards a greenish tone. And finally, the telecamera or zoom camera, pretty much the same story regarding the shadow, a little dramatic contrast on the Duo 2, while Samsung really does a good job in reproducing the natural feel of the image. Details are consistent on the Duo as usual, while Samsung keeps smoothing the textures. Overall, Samsung has better lighting and Duo has better details. So the bottom line is that each foldable has its pros and cons. If screen durability is a concern, Microsoft Surface Duo 2 will be probably far better and is the least expensive option. But also, Microsoft has made big advancements with the Surface Duo 2 and it's a really competitive device. But Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is an all-around better foldable phone and likely to be worth the extra money. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoy this and feel free to subscribe and click like on this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.